Hello lovely people, welcome to the video. My name's Athena. I am a writer working on my first book whilst homeschooling my two girls and being with them 24/7. Do I need to say that every time I open a video? I don't know. I'm gonna contemplate on that. Moving on. Today I wanted to do a quick writing update, chat about writing goals, as well as November writing challenges, because they all kind of blend together in reality. Now, writing update, which will then kind of lead to everything else, which this is, November is right around the corner. Have we contemplated that yet? All the challenges, Preptober is underway for so many people, and I'm seeing it everywhere, and my goalposts are moving constantly, and So, fantasy romance. My fantasy romance. It still remains heavy on the fantasy rather than the romance. It's complicated. Still working on how I'm gonna pitch it though, okay? I'm not even gonna, I thought I was gonna try, but then I realized I might have to contemplate that during November. We'll get to that. You'll understand what I mean. So, where are we right now? Draft 4. I'm currently more than halfway through revisions and basically writing draft 4, really. It is a revision draft. So draft 4 is the revision draft. I have finished 65 chapters. I have 20 chapters left to be done with revising this book and sending it off to beta readers. Now, my initial goal had been to be done with this book, like this revision, this draft, by the end of September. That was the initial first goal. I started working on it on the 20th of August, and I thought, you know what? I should be good by the end of September. The initial plan had been to send it off in October whilst I focused on Preptober, preparing for a new project, and then writing that project in November. So doing a bit of a November writing challenge. There's a billion out there at this point. I think everyone is pretty aware. Ever since Nano just... There's Nano 2.0, there's Nov, I believe, from like pro writing. Yeah, there's Paul Reicho, which I did last year, Pathfinder's Writing Collective. There's one from Reedsy. There's like a multitude of them from like various YouTubers, etc. There are a ton of challenges out there. November is writing challenge time, okay? I had initially thought that's what I was gonna do. Now, let's go back to my goals, what I've written, what I've done. Yesterday, today's the 16th of October as I'm filming this. Yesterday was one of my multiple ending dates that I had set myself. Naturally, as I said, I have 20 chapters left, so nowhere near done. Well, near. There's not as much work to be done, but I'm not done by any way of, So let's just look at this for a second though, because I was looking at my pacemaker and I was kind of like, I need to be nicer to myself. I started revisions on the 20th of August. From the 20th of August till the end of August, so let's say 10 days total, I worked for 9 days, okay? So 9 days total from the 20th of August till the end of August. I got 11 chapters revised, okay? And those chapters needed a bit of work. So 11 chapters in 9 days, pretty okay, like not too bad. So it was a good start. I was kind of in August, to be honest, I was finding my rhythm. I was figuring out how I wanted to revise, how I wanted to go about it. I wasn't sure how I wanted to revise. I had never revised a book before. And once I kind of figured all of that out, we were hit by the flu. So from the 31st of August all the way up until the 9th of September, I did nothing. So September as a month with all the days that it was bad. Like looking at it on my pacemaker, it is bad. I got in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days? Really? 10 writing days in an entire month. That was September for me. I did 23 chapters in a month. And then October hit and I finally just was like, I need starting, I didn't mark anything on the 1st of October, but I have been working. So in October so far, up until yesterday, the 15th, I have tackled 30. My battery died, just as I said the number, because why not? So, rounding back up. As I said, in October, I tackled 31 chapters. 15 days worth of a month. I got more work done. I mean, clearly, considering I got like 10 days of writing done in September, of course I would get more done. it goes to show that if I did have a full September, I would have hit my initial goal. Unfortunately for me, life happens, sickness happens. The past 3-4 months, I feel, have just been insane. And October was the first month that I finally breathed this year. I don't want to jinx it. I've said that before because I'm terrified of jinxing it. I cannot even express to you guys how much I'm terrified. I never had this such a superstitious, but it has been insane. So, moving on. 65 chapters have been revised. I have 20 chapters left. It is the 16th today. And my thoughts. These are my thoughts. So, I'm going to keep going with the momentum I've picked up. I'm going to keep at it. I'm not going to set like an actual full-on goal of when I think I will 100% be done before Monday, because I want to give myself today, tomorrow, the weekend, just to kind of see what I'm going to do, where we're going to be at. And then Monday I will. However, I do believe that by Monday I should be at a point where I should at the very least, be practically done. Like almost done. Like a handful of chapters left. That kind of thing. You never really know. But that's the goal. Okay? And then that would mean at that point I want to decide between two options. These are my options. So 20th of October. Say that I am done with my book 20th, 22nd of October, right? That gives me a few days left in October to maybe prep, brainstorm, just do a little bit of, preparation for a zero draft of a new project in November. Or start prepping, maybe take a couple days off and then start prepping, working on my query. So this is the thing. There's no way, I know for sure that my beta reading is going to take a good month. So what I'm thinking at this point is, do I want to work on a new project in November and just go a little bit nuts and do a zero draft? Because I know the way I want to write future projects based on how I wrote this one is that I want to do brainstorming, zero draft, use the zero draft to then do a bit of an outline, beat sheet, all that kind of prep, kind of figure out the story 100%, make sure everything is all set up.
Can I see the hour clearly?
Okay. And then jump into draft 1. So the draft 1 is way better first time round, and then draft 2 is actually a revision rather than me ending up with 5,000 drafts when it's, I don't want to do a bazillion rewrites again. That's my goal. We never know what's going to happen, of course, but that's the goal. Anyway, back to where we were. October, Preptober, November. So I was thinking this. I was thinking, should I do a new project in that general way of thinking? Or should I use the 1 month and actually work on my query letter, which of course will also go through multiple drafts. I'm going to have to research agents. I'm going to have to research what everyone wants. That's going to have to happen at some stage for this book. And I feel like having a month off from having to work on the book, and needing to take a step away from the book, that it would probably be a good idea to work on that. And that way it'll probably, also help me with my pitch. Like, how do I pitch this book? What is this book even about? What are we even talking about? I feel like there's a lot of work that has to happen there. So it would be a good idea for me to tackle that as well. I am not sure. I cannot decide right now, which is why I'm saying I will allow myself, having thought out my two options and discussed with you guys, because you guys help me beyond, you cannot even imagine how much you help. The two options, I will kind of give myself the weekend, like tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I will kind of reevaluate and be like, okay, depending on where I am, do I want to start a new project, or do I want to just really get to work on my query? Because I've done nothing in regards to queries. And no one really does at this point, I know. I feel very underprepared. Like, I really need to. And then I also was thinking something else as well, where I was like, can I get myself into a new project when I'm still in the middle of another one? And then jump back into editing the other one, kind of go back and forth between projects. And I was like, oh, maybe that's not a good idea. I'd rather start the new project fresh and clean. Once I'm querying this book, then I'll start working on the new project. But then I also thought, and this is just me thinking over this, right? Then I also thought, let's say I get my agent. Okay, this book, query is complete, everything is done. I get the agent for the book. I will eventually have to be working on multiple projects. So if all goes well in this life, and eventually I do have an agent, and I get a publishing deal, and just, I will have to work on multiple projects. So I think the idea of not working on multiple projects is not as much of a reason not to do it, because it might give me a bit of an idea of how I would work on, on multiple projects. Like, how does my brain function going between the two? Then again, it is my first project, and maybe I need to kind of just hone out all the details first before I go into doing a second project. Lots of thoughts. Lots of thoughts, but that's the crux of it. There are so many November challenges, and seeing them everywhere just makes you want to do something. I do feel like a query letter is a good enough project to tackle in November. I don't think like that's any less than, you know, less important. Finding agents, doing all the thing, like everything. I'm talking everything, like full on query prep while I wait for this to come back from beta readers. I will admit I'm hoping it's not gonna need too much work. Like draft 5 technically won't be insane. And then a good line edit, grammar check, spelling check, all that, you know, like to the best of my, capabilities. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna end this video. As I said, I'm getting close to finishing. Finally, I am really happy with where I am right now. Yes, my goals have moved. Yeah, it's, decisions shall be made on Monday, and we shall see what those will be. I will figure it all out. Also, small note for anyone who possibly lasted this long, my word count, which I will talk about more on Monday, has dropped from 139,500 words to 130,700 words. I have no words to express, okay? Okay, let's say 131,000 at this point. I have cut 8,000 words. That is an achievement at this moment, okay? I definitely know I wanted it to be lower, but I feel like I definitely need this. The next pass will definitely be, I already have ideas, and now I'm dragging this out. I'm gonna stop now. But I have ideas of how I want to change certain things in the first few chapters to make them a bit more snappy, a bit more concise. I've just the better I've gotten, I would say, at revising, I feel like I could go back and do that. I don't want to do it because I want to get feedback on the various developmental changes I've made first, and then I'm gonna probably go in and pull it all together. I might do like a 4.5, draft 4.5, and then do draft 5, line edit. We'll see. We'll see the better. I don't know. I'm talking as though beta read. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Monday. That's what we're gonna do.